Hi, folks. Welcome to a new and long overdue episode of GemTalks, brought to you by Des Moines Wage Radio and Des Moines Wage Shop and Community Center. I'm Alicia, and I will be your host. Boy, I miss doing these talks when my kiddo was a baby and would sleep on me. So much more awesome. Baby snores are the best accompaniment to any video, just in case you didn't know. But, anyways, tonight we're going to talk about white selenite. And partially this is because I keep having, especially in the last 2 to 3 weeks, people come into the shop and they need clearing kits, they need energy clearing, things like that. And I wanted to put something down for posterity, something you guys can refer back to. Um, and yes, I will be writing articles about this, but I think I'm going to be publishing the articles over the weekends. They're going to be on DesMoinesUH.com as well as on the shop's Patreon. And yes, I have a green screen behind me. It's just a green cloth, but it's fun anyways. Hubby found the gemstone background. Neat, huh? There we go. I'm still getting used to this. Anyways, I'm not going to take too much of your time, but as you all know, I love the stone white selenite. And I'm going to put it there in front of my face, right here. And then you can also see my earrings, white selenite earrings. And yes, we do have both of these at the shop. Um, White selenite is one of your best stones for energy clearing, energy purification. It cleans negative and stagnant energy out of people, places, things, stones, jewelry, watches. I have several bowls around the house where I take off my jewelry, my watches, and everything, and I put them into the bowl with chunks of white selenite. At the end of the day, I've also upgraded it to black tourmaline as well, just to really filter stuff out, and some obsidian and citrine. But white selenite is always first and foremost the key basic ingredient to any and all cleansings. Well, energy cleansings. How's that? There we go. Hang on, I gotta get some more coffee. Woo. Okay. White selenite is a crystallized form of gypsum. Now, on the Mohs hardness scale, it's pretty soft. It's only about a 2. And since I know everybody's going to ask what's the Mohs hardness scale, because I did when I heard about it, it is the scale that measures mineral hardness. It measures it from 1 to 10. So talc is a 1 in softness, well, in hardness, and then diamond is a 10. So it's always that 1 to 10 scale. Selenite is a 2. It is a form of gypsum. It's normally found in mines, caves, and in desert regions. And I believe it's hydrated calcium sulfate, something like that. You can actually grow selenite yourself using chemical processes, but it gives it a bit of a different feel. From what I've seen, each time selenite grows in a different region, it has just that it picks up that touch of the region, which is only natural. It is growing from the earth. Now, it is a very slow growing mineral, so only about a hair's amount per 100 years. But this stuff is amazing. It is highly valuable. It is a common mineral, but it's wonderful. You have some different types. You've got earthy selenite, you've got satin spar, you've got the peach selenite, stuff like that. The peach selenite, it's more of a softer cleanse. It's white selenite can just be a whoa. And for me, I love that. I love that energy where it's just bam and everything's off of me. Quick, hard, fast. Love it. And then I can get on with the rest of my day. But some people, they're just not ready for that. So they prefer the peach selenite that has a softer, easier clean, kind of like being wrapped up in a warm blanket at the end of the day with a hot mug of tea, maybe in front of a fireplace. Whereas white selenite is just like, it's a power wash. It's all coming off. So, yeah. White selenite is very high vibe. It does connect to the crown chakra. Now, there is reports of it first being used around 5000 BC in Mesopotamia for clearing and cleansing work, but I can't substantiate these reports, so I'm just going to call it hearsay. The other thing is, selenite was actually named after Selene, the Greek goddess of the moon. And the Greeks loved it as well. They made protective amulets out of it and everything like that. And they saw it just as a form of protection. Actually, what it is and it does work for protection because it's upping the vibration around you so much that the negative has a really hard time getting through. But first and foremost, it is energy clearing. It's flushing, basically. It's an energy flusher. Um, let's see, there were a couple more things I wanted to mention. Mentioned Celine, mentioned it comes in a couple of different shades, sometimes gray, sometimes peach. Most time you'll see it like this. It can grow alongside mica and shale and different things like that. It can also grow alongside calcite. And each time, oh, and sometimes pyrite. That's really interesting too. I really want to get another one of those chunks because I've seen a couple come through the store. They always found really good homes, but I want to get a nice big chunk for my home because I think that pyrite and selenite would be really fun. Pyrite is really protective. Yes, it's got the whole wealth thing, wealth attracting thing, but it's very protective. So it would be really fun to put that by the front door. But anyways, just as an experiment. Um, so selenite it does connect to the crown chakra, and some energy workers call it the telephone stone. Why that is, they feel that it actually helps to reach different realities, different dimensions, different things like that, different astral realms, and pull information back. It's such a high vibe stone, nothing else can stick to it but good stuff. So, or at least higher vibe stuff. So pay attention a lot of times when you're getting messages with selenite on you or around you. They're more than likely to be information downloaded to you. So that's a nifty little feature. But once again, I go back to it. I love it for energy flush, and that's its main purpose. Most of the time in my shop, I mean, I have this all around my shop. It's buried in almost every corner. You know, I've got a ton of it out for sale. I've got it in jewelry, palm stones, everything. But I have it all around my shop and all around my home. I even have it in my cars. Well, technically it's my mom's car and she's letting me borrow it, but hair splitting. Um, I have these everywhere. I have them under the beds, everything, because it just keeps everything so nice and clean. I have only maybe twice felt a selenite that was polluted by the owner's energy. And when I say polluted, maybe it's overlaid, I guess. No, it would be, how would you put it? Flooded. There, that's what it is. That's the word I wanted. Flooded. The only twice have I ever felt a selenite, white selenite, that was flooded by its owner's energy. Um, the one guy, he just had so much energy that he kept splitting each piece of selenite that he got within probably about 2 months. And his girlfriend and I, we were really good friends at the time. I mean, we still are, but his girlfriend at the time was really good friends with me, and she kept bringing them back to me. And I'm like, he's splitting the selenites in half. Okay, what is he doing? The guy wasn't rough on him or anything. He just had so much energy, he would pop them. And I didn't realize that he was a paramedic. And he was going along, and I was really worried about touching it because I figured I'd feel pain or trauma. No! When I touched the two halves of his selenite, they gave me an energy buzz. So his energy was pumping off so much that he was unwittingly charging them as an energy receptacle. Needless to say, I just traded her one straight off. And when I had my tired days, because it was still when Arthur was little, I would just grab those and hold and be like, oh, okay, all right, I'm back. And it lasted for quite a while. I'm not sure where they ended up, but I think if I were to hold them again, they would still have some buzz. That's how strong the guy's energy was. He just was a little natural energy battery. I know, because I have one for a son. Good God. Anyway. But he had amazing energy, and he was actually a huge skeptic about crystals until one day we were all at a vendor show. She was doing her books and some other stuff, and I was doing my crystals and all that, and he was standing there trying to help out and enjoy the show and everything, and he was getting really grumpy, because he hadn't eaten and all that, and I was making a joke. I looked at some patrons that had come up to my table, and I grabbed the selenite palm stone and went, and look, it even takes away grumpy moods. It takes away everything. It's just like energetic soap. And sure enough, I meant it as a joke, but it actually worked. He lightened right up, so I just gave him the palm stone, and he was happy for the rest of the day, and he went and got food and everything. But ever since that day, he has been passionate about selenite. So just a funny story for you all. Now, as a not so funny story, the other dude, oddly enough, they're both dudes, but anyway, the other dude that was able to flood his selenite, this one is not such a happy story. I asked him what was going on because when I held his selenite size skyscraper, and he had gotten it from another shop, it was pretty big too. it's big. I held it. I immediately felt like I was drunk. I felt like I was falling down drunk, and I told him, "What the hell? This is selenite. You can't flood selenite." And this was my first experience with it. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I went through a couple of alcohol poisonings with that." I'm like, "What?" He went through one overdose and two alcohol poisonings, if I'm remembering it correctly, with that stone on him. I was like, "Oh, so that's what it takes to flood a selenite. Got it. You want to clean that. Why don't you put some more selenite and some obsidian and stuff by it and clean it up?" Needless to say, months later, I think he checked it again and it was still bad. So, yeah, it takes a lot to overwrite selenite's energy, but it can be done. It just takes quite a bit. It takes a powerhouse. So let's see. Telephone stone, ultimate energy flush for those of you who are lazy cleaners like me. I don't keep track of the moon phases like I should. Honestly, I just don't. I don't. If I bury it in salt or in earth or something, I'm gonna forget where it is. Okay, I'm gonna put it up somewhere, and I'm gonna be like, "This is in a safe place." That whole ancient banishing chant. Hold the item, decide that it needs to be in a safe place. Speak the words aloud. I'm putting this in a safe place. You'll never see it again. Yeah, it's the ancient banishing chant. Anyway, but um, and running it underwater. Oh, that's another thing. Care of your selenite. Do not use it as an incense burner. It will stain. Do not smudge it with sage. The smoke will stain it. Do not pour dye on it. It will take dye very easily and you won't get it off. Do not get it wet because it will start to dissolve. And if anybody tells you to drink selenite water, to dissolve selenite in the water and drink it, don't listen to them. And immediately don't listen to anything else they say. Because it's wrong. And you could get poisoning from it. So yeah. Most of the crystals don't put in water. I would say the only crystal that is safe to actually put in water, crystal, is clear quartz. So don't put anything else in. And if anybody tells you to put malachite in water and drink it, stop talking to them. Malachite is poisonous. It's the copper in it. Anyways, I've had a couple people in saying that, so I had to mention that. Anyway, man, these videos are going to be all over the place. Sorry, bud. White selenite, ultimate energy flush. Keep it by your crystals. Keep it on you. Keep it in your car, in your house. I've had one lady. She actually buried obsidians all along her property, and then buried the selenite at the four corners. That way, they were constantly flushing. Because obsidian will take a protective hit and bounce stuff off it, but it needs cleared almost immediately afterwards. That's what the selenite's for. Oh, and also, my experiments, mine and my hubby's experiments, well, and I'm dragging Nicole into this because honestly, everybody in my circle always gets into the experiments that I'm doing. But our experiments with working with resin and pouring selenite into the resin to actually, because I've got bowl molds and container molds and coffin box molds and box molds and stuff like that. It's actually working. It works really well. We had a really nasty case come in over the weekend, and we still had a lot of air bubbles in it, so I'm not putting it out for sale, but I had my husband make a shell plate, and he poured selenite dust through it, white selenite dust. Hardened up, and I've been putting different things on, charging them okay. This case came in, and the stuff they gave us was horrible. I mean, it felt dirty. It felt like tar was dripping off of it. You didn't want to touch it. So we just kind of took some tongs and put it over on the selenite plate just to see. We tried the salt plate, did nothing. The selenite plate, however, it worked. Within about 45 minutes, everything was clear. You could touch it, it was fine. You could still feel just the slightest pinch of residue. So we left it on there for a bit longer, but took almost everything away. So it is working. I'm really excited. With the resin that we're using, it's completely bioorganic, because if I used a plastic resin, plastic insulates, so it stops all the charge from the stones and everything. Whereas resin, it actually carries a bioelectric charge already, and it will conduct. So it's conducting all the energies of the stones, and it's working like a charm. So pretty soon we will have stuff for sale with white selenite dust in it that you don't have to buy the extra stone. You can just buy the bowl, pop your stuff in, and you're good to go. I'll be working on some trinket boxes and different stuff like that. I've already got a couple of worry stones and a couple of palm stones ready for that stuff too. So I'm really, really, really excited. We're going to be doing some combos, protective combos, wealth combos, stuff like that. So yeah, it's coming along really well. And oh wow, this video is 15 minutes. I only meant to do about 9 to 10. Normally the gem talks are going to be about 10 to 12 minutes each, probably less, because I'll be a little more focused. But you can find us on Spotify. You can find this on Spotify on Des Moines New Age Radio. And remember to tune in tomorrow night for, this is Wednesday, tune in tomorrow night for the Psychic Roundtable. We are talking about shadow work, and I'm going to have the High Priestess Gypsy, Earl of Pagan News Radio. I'm going to have Thor, Psychic Vampire and Mystical Researcher. Wade McMorrigan's coming on, Pagan Author. And I believe a couple other people, but I'm not sure yet. I think Angel and the Psychic Medium is scheduled to be on, but I don't know. She's going through a lot right now. Well, she's been perpetually going through a lot for the last 5 years or so poor girl. But, yep, so, all right, guys. Oh, and look for a couple of new things coming up. I'm not going to say a lot until they're actually done, but look for a couple of new things coming up. All right, love you all. Remember, weekly guidance and updates is Monday. Gem Talks is Wednesday. Tuesday Night Talks is Tuesday, obviously. Psychic Roundtable is Thursday. And then I'm going to be publishing all the articles on DesMoinesNewAge.com over the weekends. Sabrina, thank you, Sabrina. I hope you tune in tomorrow night. And if not, you can catch it on Spotify the next day, unless my tech is running really slow, because the tech gremlins just absolutely hate me and the show and everyone. Oh my God, those things are feral, bratty. All right, Judy Zeitz. Hey, Judy. Good night, baby. All right, love you all. Mwah. Oh, if you have a crystal you want to know more about, put it in the comments or message the shop directly. And then don't forget to like and subscribe for more stuff. And pretty soon I'll actually have an intro and an outro. Dennis is working really hard on it. He's that close to having it done. All right. Love you all. Mwah. Doodles. Have a good night.